Here are the features for the 088 release. You now have the ability to send your modifier bucket to everyone. Users can now change the quantity values on their equipment. And if you have the automatically calculate encumbrance level setting turned on, as they add more equipment, once they cross an encumbrance boundary, their encumbrance will change. For example, Bog has all these balanced throwing axes. If I move them to other equipment, then his encumbrance goes back to none. You can bring things to 0 and it'll stay in the list showing 0. If you click the minus sign again, it'll ask you if you want to delete it from the list. You can always leave it in the list in case you'll get some later. And the user can change the equip status just by clicking on the equipped column. And the user can now enter equipment by clicking this plus in the header and filling out this dialog, and then pressing create. You can see the item at the bottom of the list. Now remember, this piece of equipment does not affect the rest of the character sheet. It's just for note taking, and in this case, it gives Bog 1D healing. To edit the equipment, just double-click on the name, and it'll bring up the dialog again. Change it however you need, and then press Update. To delete an item, you can either reduce its count to 0, or you can right mouse click on it, and it'll bring up a menu of options. The Add options add new equipment in those locations, or you can delete the current equipment or edit it again. Like the other spinners, if you hold down the Shift key, these numbers move up and down by 5. The user can also create new notes by hitting the plus icon and typing in a new note and pressing create. And like the equipment, you can double-click on it to edit it, and then press Update. And again, like the equipment, you can right mouse click on it to edit it or delete it. And once I got that working, I couldn't stop there. So now you can double-click on melee weapons, ranged weapons, advantages, skills, and spells. The sole purpose is so that you can edit them to add on-the-fly formulas to make it easier to play the game, instead of opening up the whole editor window. Obviously, I've already edited Bog to include a lot of the on-the-fly formulas, but I haven't done that with this character. So now with this new feature, I'll add some on-the-fly formulas. For first aid, at tech level 5, it's 1D minus 2. And I'll change the disadvantages to be control rolls. And they turn into on-the-fly buttons. And we finally restricted all of these actions to owners. So now only owners can change hit points, resource trackers, or make any changes in the skills, equipment, etc. lists. And the last feature in this release are new chat commands. Type help and you'll see the list in the chat log. The last two are only available to GMs. But with this feature, you can now implement rudimentary macros. In this case, the GM has a dark room macro, which will clear their modifier bucket, put in a -4 to dim lighting, and then send the modifier bucket to all their players. And one of the players is on the right. And then finally, it'll output some text with a blind perception roll. So let's execute. You can see in the Game Master's log, it's showing the commands that executed. The player has -4 in their modifier bucket, and they can click on the button in the chat log. Now don't go crazy with this. It's not a full programming language. There's just a few things you can do, but hopefully it can be useful. And that's it. It's mainly a quality of life release so that the user can better edit their character sheet and hopefully add in useful on-the-fly formulas or keep track of equipment and notes during gameplay. I hope you like the features. And as always, thank you for watching.